ever publicizing it. And here's the truth. People forget this. If that letter, which came out in February and he was gone in April, if that letter had been made public by the president of the university or by the athletic director, Kentucky would not have been able to take John. And John, of course, is going, don't make that public because we got a recruiting class coming in. I don't know when he said that if he knew he was taking that recruiting class to Kentucky, but they kept it private until, of course, he was already at Kentucky, and then we all know what his history. I think it's those two reasons. And I don't have a problem with him taking the class because I just think that's the way college athletics has gone. And now it isn't even the coach. Now when a kid is asked about a school, it's who's paying the most? Who can give me more money? But it really was fun. I do believe that John Calipari has a great deal of affection for the city. I know he does for plenty of charities. Ken Bennett was there from Street Ministries yesterday, and I know he absolutely has a love for that organization because I know how much money he's given them over the years. He has a love for his players. There were at least 10 former players there yesterday. It was good to see a lot of them. I saw Sean Williams. My gosh, I'd forgotten what he even looked like. It had been a while ago, but now he's back in town. With Nike has these new academies like Mount Verde or IMG. They've got one in Memphis now to keep the Memphis kids at home, and we're going to have Sean on at some point. It was terrific to see. Billy Richmond was there. Billy's got some legal problems at the moment, but he came because he wanted to talk to Cal and hang with all those guys. Sean Taggart was there, who's involved in coaching now on a couple of different ways. It was just a great time, and I was so pleased that he's finally decided to come back. Will this become a home and home? I got a feeling it will, because I think Calipari is sincere when he says, I want to help the university. He's got 9 years here. His kids literally grew up here. And one of his daughters is now apparently the head of some sort of research department and she was always really smart, Erin, at Vanderbilt. So she's living in Nashville. He has a sense of Memphis about him and loves it. And I mean, that's what he said. And I believe him. So maybe as some of these Daily Memphian thread writers say, I took the hook. I bit the bait. But I've always liked John Calipari. I've always had a great deal of affection for him. He always made everything exciting. And let's be honest, the Tigers won. They were good. They were fun. And John was the ringmaster there. A couple of other notes. One said, George Raveling passing away at the age of 88. But if you give me 88 in good health, I'll sign up for the deal right now. He was a longtime coach. People kind of remember him because he's the guy that got Nike and Michael Jordan together for a partnership that is unparalleled. But he coached at Washington State, Iowa, USC, won 325 times, was on the Olympic coaching staffs in 84 and 88 that won gold medals. He's a Naismith Hall of Famer. Good life, well lived. Hate to see anybody pass, but this was a good life, George Raveling at 88. And then I don't know if anybody watched last night, but Novak Djokovic advanced, beat Taylor Fritz. He beats him every time. He's 11-0 against him now. But, Fritz is only 27, and Joker's 38, and if he keeps playing, Fritz is going to get him eventually. Here's the thing. This is what is outstanding to me. I don't think he can beat Alcaraz. He plays him next, and Alcaraz hasn't lost a set at the U.S. Open yet. I don't think he can beat him. But and Sinner, those two are the best. That's the new big rivalry. And Sinner also is trying to advance to the semifinals. He's got one more match, then he'll be in the semifinals, and he's a big favorite to do that today. But Novak Djokovic at the age of 38, in every major, Australia, Wimbledon, French. He's made the semifinals, folks. Why would you quit? You're still in great shape. You still enjoy it. You're making all kinds of money because you keep making the semis. Keep going. Novak, keep on going. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. I know soon we're going to have a brand new sale, but go in now. Say, I still went all in on the in-stock patio furniture that's got to go so I can get 60% off. Yeah, that's what you can get, like a 4-piece deep seating set under a grand chaise lounges. You buy one, you get the second one free, and nobody buys one. Buy a patio table, you get a free umbrella. Those are not cheap. It's right there for you. Special financing is available as well. It's the Clear Out the Warehouse sale still going on at Family Leisure. All of a sudden, the time has changed.
It's time for Dennis on Dave. Dennis on Dave. Dennis on Dave.
Welcome to Dennis on Dave.
Timing not perfect, but we got the picture.
Djokovic is the oldest player to make the semis in all 4 majors, breaking his own record.
At 37?
Yeah.
Really? I did not know that.
He'd already set the record, and then he broke it. And yesterday was the first time Djokovic has ever faced an American opponent in a major who was seated higher than him.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
In his entire career, he's never because Fritz was I guess seeded 4 and Djokovic was 7, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's the only time he's ever faced an opponent.
That part is interesting. I'm not sure. Fritz won the 3rd set. Yeah. I'm not sure he'd ever beaten him in a set.
But then he lost his composure a little bit. Drake, the rapper Drake, has bet $300,000 that Sinner will win the U.S. Open, guaranteeing that Sinner will not win the U.S. Open. Drake is the kiss of death. He is $115,000 in the hole on tennis bets.
How do you know this?
Because this is the stuff I look up. This is what I do.
115, so he'd end up ahead if he wins.
But he's not going to win. I think you're right. I think Alcaraz is going to win. As we know, we learned last week, Venus Williams is back playing competitive tennis so that she can qualify for the insurance for the WTA. She has to be in the top 500 players in the world. She got bounced yesterday. She is currently sitting at 586th in the world. So she does not, at this moment, qualify for the insurance from the WTA.
Here's the thing about she's in her 40s, right? Mm-hmm. She got that far with that little Fernandez girl.
Good Lord.
Nobody would have thought they
could carry that girl around.
They played a seeded team to begin with, and to get 3 rounds to the 4th round, that's pretty amazing in its own right.
We never pay any attention to doubles in the U.S. Open. We only did this year because Venus is playing. Otherwise, we paid no attention. Right. And for the rest of the tournament, we will pay no attention to the doubles.
All right. As of mid-2024, I had to look this up because it's been you're driving me crazy with the fact that she's just trying to do this for insurance.
It is, in fact,
Do you know what her net worth is as of the middle of last year?
I know that she has earned $42 million.
Her net worth is estimated to be $95 million. She does not have an insurance problem.
Well, she's the one who said it, not me. I didn't make it up. She's the one who said, I don't want to pay Cobra. I want to get the insurance from the WTA. It is pretty obvious now that if it weren't for Tom Brady, only huge sports nerds would have any idea who Bill Belichick is. If it weren't for Tom Brady, he'd be a guy who coached a crappy Browns team and a crappy Patriots team. He would be meaningless, and obviously he is not a good college football coach. I don't know why everybody believed he would be. The Patriots were terrible when Brady left.
Because he's the second winningest coach in the history of the National Football League. That's why people
Because of Tom Brady.
And you're going to tell me you're going to judge him by 1 game?
Yeah. By a 48-14 loss? Yes, I'm going to judge him by that. That was disastrous. They sold out their entire season for the Tar Heels. My entire family are Tar Heels fans. They would love for the Tar Heels to succeed. They're not going to succeed under Belichick. He was terrible once Brady left. The Patriots were terrible once Brady left. There's no reason to believe he's going to be a good college football coach. He's coached one game, and he's been a complete disaster at it. We've been talking for weeks, of course, about what was going to happen with Micah Parsons. The Cowboys sent him to Green Bay. They get back 2 first-round picks.
And a 3-time Pro Bowler defensive tackle.
Yeah, they've got 2 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts. I guarantee you, they'll screw them up. Next year's.
I won't argue with you on that, but I hate it that he went to the Packers.
Why?
Because I'm a Bears
guy. Oh, of course,
guy.
yeah, because you're a Bears fan. And he's going to be impactful, obviously, in Green Bay. We still really don't know what Green Bay is, but
I think Jordan Love's pretty good. I think we know he's a pretty good quarterback.
I don't think we really know, but we'll see. And
I hope I'm wrong.
Micah might very well be worth a win or two. This is. I love this. Of course, I have no idea why the Cowboys are playing the first game of the NFL season Thursday night, playing at the Eagles. Because of course you can't explain it. People care about the Cowboys. I don't know why.
Well, because I don't either. They became America's team. They were not one of the original teams in the NFL, but the state of Texas loves football like no other state does, and they had a nice run. And they had that run with Tom Landry. It's not just since Jerry Jones bought the team. That is for sure. In fact, they had short period of glory under Jerry Jones, and I think you can thank Jimmy Johnson for that.
Well, absolutely. It was Jimmy Johnson.
But they are America's team, and they are taking on the defending Super Bowl champs, and that's why they did it.
And they're going to get killed. And this is weird. The Eagles are going to raise their Super Bowl banner on Thursday night.
Sure.
Nobody felt compelled to tell Nick Sirianni, the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, that they were doing this at this game.
But don't they always
He found out at his own press conference. Somebody said, "Hey, how do you feel about hanging the banner Thursday night?" And he said, "I wasn't aware we were doing that. We right before the game? Yeah, you're doing it right before the game." He's like, "Well, we won't be there. Like the Eagles aren't going to be out there on the field because they've got a game to prepare for." Sirianni just straight up said, "That sounds great. We won't be there. We'll be getting ready for a football game." And according to ESPN, the Cowboys are now projected to give up the most points of any team in the NFL this coming season. That's just ESPN's guess.
After giving up the best defensive player in the league.
CBS Sports gave us the 5 worst teams in the NFL. They're not in any particular order, but just the 5 worst teams in the NFL are the Browns, the Saints, the Colts, the Giants, and the Titans. I'm a Saints fan, and they're going to be terrible because they don't have a quarterback. The Giants have an okay quarterback room. Russell Wilson's going to start, and then Jackson Dart's going to take the job.
Jackson Dart is look, he was a terrific college player. Yeah. I don't know if anybody saw. Now these are exhibition games too, so let's be careful. But I didn't think he would be that good that quick. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah. Well, and the problem is, of course, they play in the NFC East, so they're in a brutal division. And Jeremy Lin, the pride of the Harvard Crimson.
Yeah. The Knicks. What did they call that?
Linsanity.
Linsanity. That was one of the great monikers of all time.
Jeremy Lin is retiring from the NBA.
Wait a second. How he should have? I thought he retired like 5 years ago.
It's like last week we were talking about DeVito for the Giants.
Oh, yeah,
when they cut him. I assumed Jeremy Lin had retired years ago.
Where has he been playing?
Well, he played in a lot of places. When he first exploded on the scene with the Knicks, he had the distinction of being on back-to-back Sports Illustrated covers. And I looked and looked and looked yesterday, and I could not find a single instance where that's ever happened with another player. He is the only player that I could find that has ever appeared on back-to-back covers.
How did that happen?
Because he was scoring an insane number of points. He was breaking all kinds of records. But then Carmelo Anthony came back from an injury, and Carmelo, could be a little petty and didn't particularly like all the attention Lin was getting, so he froze him out. And Lin wasn't getting the ball. He became irrelevant and was never relevant again. He played for, or at least was on the roster for, the Rockets, the Hornets, the Nets, the Hawks, and finally the Raptors.
So did he play in Toronto last year?
Well, he was on the roster. I don't know if he ever actually played. And, of course, if you're retiring with the Raptors, things have not gone well.
Well, how old is he now?
Well, he came on the scene 13 years ago. That's when he exploded. It was 13 years ago. 2012 was when he was a phenomenon
be in his mid-30s.
Phenomenon for about 2 months, and that was it for him. Our friend, recently retired Jeff Woods, sports videographer, was shooting Tony Baroni working out a player.
Blessed memory is he.
And the player he was working out was Jeremy Lin.
Wow.
And at one point, while Jeff was shooting this thing, Baroni yelled at Lin, "You went to Harvard and you can't tell your left from your right?"
Did he really say that?
He absolutely did.
I love it.
Michael Vick is the head coach of Norfolk State.
Yeah. Wow. How about that?
Why is anybody allowing Michael Vick to come anywhere near the sport of football or anywhere near anything? I don't forgive the dogfighting thing and never will. A friend of mine was a diehard Jets fan, and when Vick went to the Jets, this guy got his Jets tattoo covered up. If Vick had gone to the Saints, I would have done the same thing. I would have completely disowned the New Orleans Saints if Michael Vick had gone there. There's some things you just can't forgive.
If Michael
Do we really
Vick
want
became a better person because of that? I'm a dog person. I've always had a pet my entire
I'm not.
pretty
I'm a
much
cat
my entire
person.
life, and I understand the dismay, the disappointment of a human being being involved in that. But if he righted his life, come on.
Who says
maybe
righted
he
his
can
life?
Impart the better things of life.
Really, that's
to
what we want. We
these
want
guys.
Michael Vick shaping the young minds of the future? No.
Maybe
that's
Michael
not what
Vick
we
has changed.
Hey, speaking of tools, we should all remember the name. We won't, but we should remember the name Piotr Sizorek. We're not going to remember it. Piotr Sizorek, Pete is the millionaire CEO of a Polish paving company who snatched a hat. There's a Polish tennis player, Kamil Marak, was trying to give this hat to this kid, and this millionaire guy grabbed it and stuck it in his bag and took off with it, because he's a tool. And then when they figured out who he was, because the internet does that kind of thing,
Right.
he released this. His first statement was, yes, I took it. All of my Polish accent is the same as my Russian and Ukrainian. It's all East European.
Yeah. Okay.
It's yes, I took it. Yes, I did it in a rush, but as always, first come, first served is life. He continued. If you were faster, you would have it. I remind you that insulting a public figure is subject to legal liability. All offensive comments, slander, and insinuations will be analyzed for the possibility of taking the matter to court. He's the CEO of a paving company. He's not a public figure. He's just a jerk.
Right.
So obviously this was not taken well by the public, so he was forced to issue another statement where he said, I know I did something that seemed like consciously collecting a memento from a child. That wasn't my intention, but it doesn't change the fact that I hurt the boy and disappointed the fans. This guy doesn't have any fans.
Has he given the hat to the kid?
He has returned, as he said, he returned the hat to the kid. But the fact that he used the word returns means he knew all along that it wasn't his hat.
He certainly wasn't going to do it until he was shamed.
And the player in question has showered the kid with signed stuff. I just wish this tool had a easier to remember name so we could hate on him for a while. But it's impossible to remember because it's got C's and Z's beside each other in his name. We're not going to be able to remember it so we can hate on this guy.
I know. The first time you saw Mike Krzyzewski, how did you pronounce that?
Oh, Krzyzewski
is what I said.
Krzyzewski, I'm sure
That's
that was what it was.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Army safety Larry Pickett Jr., who, along with his father, Larry Pickett Sr., pulled over and pulled a guy out of a car wreck that was surrounded by downed power lines. They pulled this guy out of his car, and seconds later, the car exploded.
I know. Is that not a great story?
Larry Pickett Jr. actually did act as a safety.
He saved a guy, and that guy would have died. There's no question.
Yeah.
They had to pull him out. I think he was unconscious at the time.
And it's incredibly dangerous. I mean, with downed power lines everywhere. So congratulations. Go Army.
That is why we should appreciate our service people
every day.
times. Yes. Thank you. You are the king of hate. We appreciate your appearance today. We'll do it again next Wednesday. Dennis, brought to you actually by something very sweet. It's Dinstall's. And I pointed out last week, and I hate this. I really do hate this. But last week was the last week for chocolate-covered strawberries.
Oh.
So I know you're all bummed out. I do. And I understand being depressed about it because it gets to me. But here's some hope. You know what this week means? Start of football season happens every year. It's like the calendar. It's the beginning of caramel apples.
Sweet.
It starts literally tomorrow. And you know you can get them all kinds of different ways. You can just get the caramel apple, or you can get a chocolate apple. You can get a caramel apple with chocolate and pecans. They call that the turtlet. It's the best. I kind of am a purist. I just like the caramel apple. It's always the best apple, always the freshest, so darn good. The season is kicked off with apples, so tomorrow, head on over. Germantown, Collierville, downtown, my neck of the woods in Laurelwood, or where they make it all, on Pleasant View. Go get an apple from Dinstall's. We're back in a minute. Joe Dank on the business of sports. That comes your way next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. I'm often called Shell Done because I sell homes and work with buyers and I get the job done. There are 7 keys to successfully selling your home quickly at a great price. First, call me. I do my research and advise you on preparation, presentation, and proper pricing that gets you the activity to get the best price. Follow my advice and it can happen. I did mention 7 keys to a successful sale, didn't I? Well, if you use the first key, calling or emailing me, you really don't need the next 6 keys. Remember, that's Sheldon Rosengarten at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. If you don't need me now, write it down for later or for a friend. That's Sheldon at 483-0546 at MemphisRelocate.com. Do it now, and who knows, you may hear your home advertised here. Remember, as bad a golfer as I am, when selling homes, Shell Done gets it done.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Does your system sound like this? Hi, this is Lauren Choate from Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. If your HVAC system is over 10 years old, then it's probably out of warranty. Don't wait for it to break down and cost you expensive repairs, but be proactive with this incredible deal from Choate's. Right now, for a limited time, for the first 50 customers, we're giving a free 10-year labor warranty plus $1,000 off a brand new Carrier system install. That's peace of mind and big savings. And that's not all. Thinking about a backup Generac generator or maybe endless hot water with a Rinnai tankless system? You'll also get $1,000 off plus a free 10-year labor warranty on those too. Since 1958, Choate's has been serving the Mid-South with old-fashioned service you can trust. So turn to the experts with Choate's and call 347-8086 and let our family serve your family.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Midway through Wednesdays, we talk business of sports. That is with the one and only Joe Dank, former GM of 24 and 30, producer and director of a lot of television sports. And our expert in the NFL season begins tomorrow night. It's the start of 2025. What are your thoughts? We got new announced teams or any shakeups at the networks? Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, David. Good to be with you. Well, look, this is year number 4 of an amazing $110 billion deal that the NFL made back in 2021 with 5 of its distribution partners. I guess you would have to say, as we're 4 years into the deal, that it certainly pays off. 72 of the top 100 TV broadcasts last television season, the 24-25 television season, were NFL games.
Wow.
So,
and we should point out, right, isn't the sports buy considered the best buy because people don't record and watch later where they can zoom through ads. They watch it live, which means they're watching the game and the advertising live.
Yeah, that's really a big part of it, and that's a big deal. So that, it is it is clearly the most coveted broadcast television inventory available for sale in the marketplace, and there's 2 factors. One is the gigantic audience size, but the other one is, more importantly, to what you just talked about, and it's a live broadcast. So it's always an interesting time of the year, and look, there's guys like us who probably remember one time when Fox was not a TV broadcaster of the NFL, and we might even remember back in '94 when Fox stole the broadcast rights for a huge amount of money from CBS at the time, that it really changed the face of television back then. But Fox is ready now to start its 32nd season in the NFL. And amazingly, their pregame show this year still features 2 guys from that original season back in 1994. Because Terry Bradshaw and Howie Long are back, Kurt Menefee will return as the host, and now Michael Strahan and Rob Gronkowski round out the panel. And noteworthy here is Jimmy Johnson retiring, and you recall Johnson was one of the original guys on the Fox NFL Sunday show.
Why is Jimmy doing that? They were letting him only come for big games or big weekends or whatever. I'm surprised he's finally given it up.
Yeah, they paid tribute to him, if you recall, with that real interesting piece during the Super Bowl. And then Jimmy said, well, I'm not retiring it just yet. And then a couple weeks later, he did announce it. So maybe there was more meaning to that piece than Jimmy understood as it was running that day. But he is done, but he had a distinguished career at Fox. Fox will return. This is the 2nd season now of the Kevin Burkhardt-Tom Brady pairing as the main announced team. And, Brady was very interesting last year and drew a lot of attention. It's going to be particularly interesting to see how he how he develops here in year two. I think that will be something to watch.
So do you think he got rave reviews? Do you think they were mixed reviews? Most of the time, and it's unfortunate, but the sentiment is that Greg Olson was really, really, really good, and because Brady was the really, really big name, that Greg Olson got robbed of being on the first team, and that Brady is not near in his league.
Yeah, I think that's fair. If you listen to him side by side, I think people would say Greg Olson is better. That's why I think it's really important to see if Brady takes a big step this year, because that is a gigantic $300+ million deal for Brady, and we'll see if it makes sense for Fox and pays off. Olson remains on the second team with Joe Davis.
Which team do you like better?
Look, Burkhardt and Olson really did a good job, and Olson is a victim of what happened. There's only one thing that Greg Olson is not, and that's Tom Brady. That's why he's not number one.
Right.
So
do you
funny
like,
how that works.
How do you like Burkhardt and Davis? Davis has done an unbelievable job on baseball.
Davis is very good. Davis is a guy. Both of those guys have done remarkably well. When Joe Buck left, they split his duties. I mean, Burkhardt got the football piece that Buck did, and Davis got the baseball piece that Buck did, and both of them have been more than capable fill-ins.
Okay. How about CBS, NBC? Well, we know NBC is just the Sunday night game, and that's Mike Tirico.
That's right. So CBS begins its 66th season of NFL football. Now, it did have that disruption for several years after Fox stole it, but their pregame is back with James Brown as the host. He's been there now for a long time, but J.J. Watt has left the pregame studio, and he's now going to be a game analyst, and he's been assigned to the number 2 team. He'll work with Ian Eagle this year. So that's going to be interesting to see how Watt moves from the studio to the games.
What happened to Charles Davis?
Well, Davis has been relegated. He's moved down in the pecking order, and
Wow.
Davis is now set. Davis is set, David, to move over to replace Gary Danielson in college football next year.
Oh, that's what happened.
So So Danielson has announced his retirement. He's on a victory lap season for CBS, and Davis is going to take over his role as college. So Davis is still doing NFL this year, just not as many games, and he's not on the A team. But as you mentioned,
Is Charles Davis doing those games with Brad Nessler still? Is Nessler still a part of that?
It's not clear to me if Nessler's been renewed for next year or not. I just don't know that at this point because it has not been announced. But Danielson announced this would be his last season, and that's when the move on Davis took place.
Wow. Okay.
Nance and Romo now already in their 9th season together on CBS. So they're, of the 3 or 4 prominent guys now, Aikman and Buck have worked together for a long time, but not as long at ESPN. You did mention NBC, and you mentioned Sunday Night Football. This, David, is the 20th season of Sunday Night Football.
That's hard to believe.
Time flies, right? Time flies.
And is Chris
Collinsworth is back with Tirico.
So he been all 20 years with that? Because I know he started with Al Michaels.
Well, he did, but if you recall, when Sunday Night Football started on NBC, it was Al Michaels and John Madden.
Oh, that's right. It was John Madden. But Collinsworth is only the second guy that's done the NBC package.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. And so is that true for Tirico because he succeeded Michaels. So
right.
There's been great stability on NBC there. This year is NBC's turn on the Super Bowl, so that is the team that will bring us the Super Bowl on February 8th. It's also the team that starts the season tomorrow night. Dallas Cowboys and Philly. Think anybody's interested to see how the Cowboys play tomorrow night?
How many points do they give up?
I don't have that information.
Yeah. Well, without Micah, they're going to give up more. I can promise you all of that. Speaking, Monday night. We haven't talked Monday night a little bit. We mentioned Joe and Joe Buck. How many years have they been together? If you count the Fox years,
I believe they're pushing 20 years because they did a long time. I mean, they succeeded when Summerall and Madden left at Fox, and so Summerall retired, and Madden moved to NBC, and Buck and Aikman took over, as I recall. And that is not yesterday. That's a while ago. So they had a good long run on Fox. And then Aikman, as you might recall, got the ESPN gig, and then Buck asked out of the final years of his contract to join him over at ESPN. So those two guys may have the greatest job in the history of broadcasting based on the amount of hours worked and the amount of money made.
I agree. I don't know why Joe Buck did what he did. I mean, have you got any sense of why he would have done that? He was the king of the World Series. He was the king of Super Bowls every third year. And I think he was making pretty good money. Maybe it's for a lot more work, but I'm still surprised. And I know he likes Troy Aikman, but aren't we a little surprised that he made that move? I know we're talking retrospect now; it's a couple of years, but I don't understand why he did that.
I really think it was that the offer was too good to refuse. I mean, from ESPN, because he had done every World Series that Fox had done, and I think he set the all-time record for World Series done. And he was originally baseball was his first love. He grew up in a baseball broadcast booth at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, sitting next to his dad. So he had a very distinguished career at baseball. He was an excellent baseball announcer. He began announcing football in 1994 by doing an NFL game for Fox. So that was his beginning of his football announcing career, and
pretty good
it's
start.
Quite interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad to start there.
Speaking of Monday night, obviously you got Aikman and you've got Buck, but you also have the alternative cast on ESPN2 known as the Manning Cast, which is part of the Omaha Productions that is Peyton Manning's brainchild, which is pretty darn amazing. How has that done? And they're expanding it, right?
Yeah, it's interesting, and it kind of sneaked up on me a little bit. This is the 5th season already. Sometimes things go, the Manning Cast is new. It's not anymore. It's in its 5th season. It expands to 12 games this year. The first one is Monday night. It's the Vikings and the Bears. And as in the past, all of the Manning casts will be on ESPN2 and as well as the ESPN app, the new and expanded app now. But, since its beginning, there have now been 42 so-called Manning casts, and they have averaged 1.3 million viewers. So, look, I mean, you and I both know the number of sports broadcasts that exceed 1 million viewers is not everyone does, obviously. No. And then more amazingly, it's opposite a broadcast that's available on either ESPN, ABC, or both. So I think that's particularly interesting. So they've been able to find and carve out an audience that makes sense. And there will be 12 of them this year, as I said, starting on Monday. There's a couple of weeks, and then there are 6 straight weeks of Manning casts during week 8 to 13. And this year they'll conclude with a Monday night wild card football playoff game. So back and more of the same. And since that started the Manning cast, there have been multiple attempts at alternate casts of different kinds of games on different types of platforms. I still think, without question, whether you love altcasts or abhor them, without question, the Manning cast is one of its kind, and it's one of one right now.
Speaking of ratings, we got to quickly do this because I got to move on. We'll talk more about this because there's some interesting conversation around Lee Corso and his final appearance with the headgear, and everything else game day on Saturday at Columbus.
3.5 million viewers for the game day show this past Saturday. That was an all-time record for that show. It's been on for nearly 40 seasons. Corso was there for most of them. This was his final appearance. The final headgear pick, where he correctly picked Ohio State to win the game, sitting on the 50-yard line of the field in Columbus, Ohio, it peaked at 5.1 million viewers. And Fox's big noon kickoff show cut into their show to carry Corso's final pick as a tribute to Corso and his contribution to college football.
That is a beautiful story. More on that next week. Joe, thank you much. I appreciate it, and we'll chat next Wednesday.
Thanks, David.
That is our man, Joe Dank. He's brought to you by Southern Security, where they offer the lowest rates, flexible terms, no PIMI, and, of course, unbeatable service. Are you getting the lowest possible rate on your mortgage? Refinance that mortgage with the Mid-South's best mortgage lender. For more info, visit online, southernsecurity.org, or if you like me, talk to a human being. Call the office at 901-452-7900. Southern Security is an equal housing lender federally insured by NCUA. Southern Security, a proud supporter of U of M Athletics and your home team credit union, the best of the last 6 years. They're Southern Security. We're back in a minute. Brooks Monaghan, the great coach of the U of M women's soccer team, now ranked 14th. They're taking on the number 2 team in the country. Oh, by the way, they wear orange. They'll be here tomorrow night. Brooks Monaghan to talk about the Tigers and the Vols. That comes your way in a minute.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Maria's Cantina in South Haven is not your average Tex-Mex joint because they're serving up Mexican with a twist. Maria's Scratch Kitchen is the most creative and diverse menu around. Beyond the traditional huge quesadillas, chimichangas, and fajitas, Maria serves up hand-rolled Latin egg rolls, Cajun and Creole items like catfish, gumbo, and boudin balls, as well as the best sandwiches and 8-ounce burgers in town. Wash it all down with a house margarita for only $5.50 and happy hour every day till 6. MariasCantina.com, 6717 Airways, Mexican with a twist.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Five-Ash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is flipping the script on heartbreakers with Ghost Leg. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code HERD. That's promo code HERD to unlock Ghost Leg. Ghost your losses. Get your payout in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Opt in for a single-use token. Minimum 3+ legs and minus 500 odds per leg. Max bet varies. If only one leg of the bet loses, bet will settle as if only the winning legs were placed and pays out in cash based on odds when the bet was placed. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
All we hear is Radio Gaga, Radio Gaga.
Memphis women's soccer coach Brooks Monaghan is in his 26th year. What has he done? 15 conference titles, 12 NCAAs. His team is currently 5-0, ranked 14th in the country. Oh, and they host tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on South Campus the undefeated 5-0, second-ranked team in the country, the Tennessee Volunteers. Brooks, welcome. Great start. But, you know, not to make it old hat, but you do this all the time, or so it seems. By winning percentage, you're the greatest coach in the history of the school. I know you're aware of that. Congratulations.
Thank you. And first, thanks for having me on this morning. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I love watching your teams. I like this new one. They're so young. 5-0, did you see yourself in this position at this point when you've had to play Ole Miss, number 11 Vandy, you played Missouri, and you played a lot of tough teams. I think another Power 4 is in there, Iowa State maybe. Did you see yourself 5-0?
Well, not necessarily, right? Because as a coach, you try to be realistic, and the facts are the facts. And going into this season, I knew that I would be coaching the youngest team that I've ever coached. We have one senior, two juniors, and then 25 freshmen and sophomores. So, although I'm very proud, very happy, if I'm being honest, I'm not so sure that at this point in the season we'd have a 14 by our name, but obviously I'm thankful and we'll take it.
I know two of those 25 underclassmen. I think it's 13 freshmen, 12 sophomores. Two have been absolutely amazing. You got a freshman who scored, I think, a goal in every game. She's unbelievable.
Yeah, Ellis Kelly. She's been special, and we knew we had a good one when we were recruiting her. But as you know, you follow sports. You never know what you're going to totally get until they get here and they start performing for you. And she's been tremendous, especially just being a first year.
How did you put this team together so young? How did you do it so quickly? What's the secret sauce here?
Man, that's a great question, and by no means is this group peaking. We've got a long ways to go, and I think the ceiling is high. But I think it starts with great leadership, and we have our two captains, Finley Lavin, and local standout Ashley Henderson are our two captains, and I think they make it easy for the rest of the team because the team just needs to follow them, and they've done a great job leading this team. But it really is. I've done this a lot, as you said. This is my 26th season, and this is a special group, and I can't promise that we're going to win, tomorrow or the next game, but you just feel it. It's a tight-knit group that is very coachable, that love each other, and when you get that recipe, you can do some big things. And like I said, still early, still a long way to go, but up to this point, really proud of the girls.
You came on a plan, a philosophy years ago. I don't know if this is possible for other Memphis teams to do this, but you found a connection. I think it was Canada first, where you got a lot of players overseas and you got them to come here. Is that still the case? Is that part of the reason this team is so successful?
Yeah, I think so, right? I think I've told you before. I think, you've got to find a niche, where unfortunately we're not a university that everybody dreams of, growing up and going to, right? But you can't make that an excuse. You got to find a way. And, our philosophy is unturn every rock, to find that next recruit. And, yeah, it's taken us to Canada. Now it's taken us to Japan.
Right.
And, obviously we have players from all over. So recruiting is nonstop, and you're just, you're looking all over the world.
When I look at 13 freshmen and 12 sophomores now, I don't know if this is like basketball and football where you got to re-recruit every year and there's no guarantees a player's going to be here for more than 1 year. But on paper, is this team going to be together for a while?
I hope so. I hope so. There's a lot of potential here, and yes, you've seen it all change, and I can't control everything, but hopefully we can keep this group together moving forward, and hopefully we can just continue to grow, and it brings great things.
Tell me about the matchup. You've got Tennessee. Obviously, they're good. They're second ranked in the country. They are 5-0, just like you. What's got to happen tomorrow night for you to come out on top?
Yeah, we're gonna not only have to be great, physically, but also mentally.
They're very good. They've already knocked off some giants. They beat North Carolina. They beat UCLA.
Wow.
There's no weaknesses on their team, and so, I think it's really it's going to come down to the fine details and just making sure we're extremely sharp. But like I said, they've earned the number 2 by their name by the teams that they've beaten. So we're going to have a great performance to give ourselves a chance to win. But I believe in these girls. I know they're excited. I believe that we are up for the challenge and just looking forward to tomorrow night.
What is the one aspect? Is it goalkeeping? Is it midfield play? What has to happen for you to have a chance to beat the number 2 team in the country?
Man, I just think with the way it's set up that we're really going to have to win, our 1v1 battle, right? And yes, it's 11 versus 11, and there's different systems and all that, but the way we'll match up to them, we just got to, it's talked about every kid that gets on the field. You're not going to win every battle, but are you going to win most of your battles? And I think that is truly, truly key. But we're going to have to match their physicality. They've got some great athletes, but then we're going to have to, because we're not just this super athletic team. We're more of a, possession-oriented team, right? So we're going to have to match their physicality and then yet beat them with our soccer savvy, if you would say.
I understand the new Eliza Fletcher Stadium is not quite there yet. You're still building it. So, and I got a feeling you're going to have a great crowd there. I am definitely going to try to be there for myself. I am told I better bring a lawn chair. Is that right?
That's right. That's been the message all year, right? Because they have already torn down. The demo part is complete. We haven't started building quite yet, but it's coming soon. So really the message to all the fans is just bring a lounge chair, bring a blanket, bear with us for this season because of what's coming, because what is coming is going to be amazing. But, yeah, if you want a front row seat, you better get there early tomorrow because we're expecting a big crowd. But, again, just be patient with us. The project is moving forward. And, but yeah, so far, obviously we've played Missouri at home. We played Vanderbilt. We played Ole Miss. We've had some wonderful crowds. And, this is an opportunity for me to thank everybody that's come out. And if you thought about coming out, come out Thursday because it should be a great atmosphere and it should be a great match.
I can't wait for it, honestly. And I know there's so many soccer fans from all the years that I've been involved in the sport here. This is special. You don't always get this number 2 team in the country, especially when it's the University of Tennessee in your home ballpark. So that is outstanding. And then I know we'll have you on a little bit later because it looks like you got the makings of one heck of a great team.
We hope so, man. And like I said, I really appreciate you having me on, and hopefully we'll get a good crowd out for the girls. I know they've earned it, and again, I keep saying, looking forward to it, man. I'm sitting here looking at my watch, counting the hours because I'm ready to go.
All right, good luck to you. We'll see you tomorrow, and thank you for being on with us.
Thanks. Thank you for having us.
That is the winningest coach in the history of the school, Brooks Monaghan. His team, 7 o'clock tomorrow, South Campus. Bring a lawn chair because they don't have the stands quite up yet. It's going to be terrific, that is for sure. We'll have our usual show tomorrow. Pete Pranica back on the NBA and a whole bunch more. This final segment has been brought to you by Memphis Golf, MemphisPublicLinks.com. That's the place to go to get a tee time, to get information about public golf. And I'll tell you, I know this for a fact, and anybody who plays golf regularly that goes to these public courses, they're going to tell you they've never been in better shape from Overton and that wonderful place for a kid to learn, or even the par 3 at Audubon. Those are in great shape. Then you take these courses. Look at Audubon, pretty darn new. Greens, hold, they're beautiful. And since they've done the redo, they're outstanding. And a driving range there, and a driving range at Pine Hill. And I got to tell you, I saw Will the other day, Will Keys, their pro. He says it's back to being in the same kind of shape it was when it first opened up. Go and enjoy public golf. It's a great amenity in this city. We got it down. Memphis Public Golf is terrific. That'll do it for us. Johnny Radio's next. Have a great day, everybody.